I always remember one of my first experiences at MIT and like how I was like slapped in the face. One of my first classes on options and stocks and all of that. So it was like a finance class. And at the end of the term, the professor hands out the take home. There was a take home final. But he says something, he's like, listen, this is a take home final. And please remember it's closed book. And he gives it out on a Friday and he's like, you have to submit it on a Monday. And, I sort of like did kind of like a mental double take. I'm like, did I hear him wrong? So I go to him like after class. I'm like, so you said this is a take home final that's closed book, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, that doesn't even flinch. And so I'm like, how do you know if I'm going to open like my book or not? He looks at me as if like I'm an alien. He's like, the honor code. Okay. And I'm like, all right, okay. I mean, I've been a good student. I've never cheated. Like, I completely believe, like, if you cheat yourself, all of that. But, like, I don't believe, like, humans are going to do that,
Yes,
right?
and your competitive streak will kick in and think, what if the others are,
Exactly.
what if I'm
Exactly.
left out,
Exactly.
the nice guy losing.
So I'm like, all right, fine. Like, let me play ball, right? So I studied and I closed the book and I did the test and I adhered to the honor code and I got a good grade. I did study the material. But then he like shows us our grades and shows us a curve. There was a curve. Like there was an average, there were people who were outstanding and there were people who failed. Okay?
Damn.
So I'm like, you know something? Those people who failed deserve some sort of
Yeah,
medal, right?
it's amazing.
So imagine doing that. Like, Jordan, like, that. Imagine doing that in Jordan. Like,
No way.
you do look at the idiot.
Absolutely. I spoke to some people who graduated from the best engineering faculties at Jordan University in the 90s, and they were lamenting that in the 2000s, there's research paper writing shops. The photocopy centers on the University of Jordan Road have also added on a service, which is
Okay,
research
right.
paper writing.
Amazing.
Where you pay them to write your bahth, basically, your
They've
research
upgraded their
paper.
services.
That's the extent of that's dishonest academia. Yani.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
rubber stamping. I don't want to go into how sad that is.
But at the end of the day, I've realized most people, if given the chance to be put in an environment that is, people in the US take for granted, right? And they think that that's normal. They react in a very, very positive way. And I just feel like our part of the world needs that sort of mentality on a larger scale because you have a lot of young people, okay? They still haven't had the chance to experience and become a little bit like bitten and bitter by like you were saying, like the process of like goods and dealing with different things, like because at some point when you get to a certain age you start thinking, whatever it is, what it is, like what can you do about it? But when you're young, and we have a lot of young people here, they're still wide-eyed and eager, and I feel they deserve that sort of environment or a taste of an environment that I was privileged enough to be exposed to.
Yeah.
It changes the way a person sort of produces. The productivity and the growth of a person changes if you come to them with that simple attitude. I trust you, right? That's more than any disciplinarian can do. It sort of just creates this thing of like, they don't want to disappoint or let you down. And I think they're just generally more happy and comfortable working in that environment because that's the environment that I want to work in.
Exactly. Yeah. Trust does breed productivity and a great mindset overall, definitely.
Yeah.